Hey, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of the Letter to Life podcast. You'll be hearing from our host.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Gio.
And today they'll be talking about the emotional influence of physical discipline. I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get into it.
Let me start off by saying physical punishment was something that I experienced as a kid growing up. That was like kind of the thing to teach you right from wrong, to show you the consequences of your actions, to really mold you into a man, per to say. It did not show me a lot instead of, just be sneaky. That was kind of the only thing that I got from it. But that's just like a high overview of, how I feel about it. But was that something that you experienced as you're growing up? I know you grew up in a Caribbean household, an ethnic household. So, how was that for you?
I mean, they will literally find anything that's in their vicinity to hit you with.
Yeah.
I've got hit with a broom. I've got hit with an extension cord, a belt, a slipper, name it. I've got hit with it.
Whatever's in sight.
I don't know. Like, I remember one time, I was getting beat and I had on jeans. So I was laughing because I knew that it was going to get this bad. And then they, took my jeans off and started hitting me for real. So I was like, damn. But I don't know. I just always got beat. I don't know. It was just always taught me to, to be more sneakier. Like, of course, I would cry, be upset about it, whatever, and punch walls because I'm angry.
Yeah.
But
wall puncher.
Yeah, please. But overall, yeah, like it was kind of normal for me. So
yeah. And I think that may be where me and you might lack perspective, because growing up, that was just normal for us.
Right. Yeah.
The place that I grew up was, predominantly white, and growing up, I had a lot of white friends.
Right.
And, when I used to go over to their house, and, have like play dates or like sleepovers and stuff, they would do some just outlandish stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, I can never do that. And, because of that, when I would go over there, their parents would just think I'm an angel child.
Right.
And then it would make me feel awkward, because they were like, oh, look at Jordan. He never does this. He's, he always says, yes, ma'am, no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
He always has his manners. He's always good when he comes over. Oh, we love having Jordan come over. Right. We love him. But in reality, that was just kind of like a trained thing out of fear, and not because that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And if I had it my way, I wouldn't say yes or no, sir. I would just be just as bad as him.
Exactly.
Well, some of them.
Yeah.
But that was just something that I was trained to do as a child, because I knew if I didn't, right, and their parents went and told my parents, it would just have been a way worse situation for me when I got back home.
Yeah. I would say, like, in my case, like, well, I have a twin sister, yeah. So sometimes, like, if she would get in trouble, I would get in trouble too, even though I didn't do anything, just because I'm a twin. And
ooh, I hated that.
I don't know why. Like, for example,
I hated that.
When my sister got her phone taken away, my grandma took away my phone too. I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, just overall, like, just getting spanked, like, it really didn't teach me anything for real. Like, it just taught me to be more rebellious and, like, just find more ways to do stuff that I wanted to do without, getting hit, of course.
Well, for me, I realized there was a point in my life where it was just like spanking was off the table. Because it starts to become like, and having my dad in my life, it's not like he's going to spank me. I'm a 22-year-old man. You're not going to spank me. You feel me? There's only so much you can do. And then, if it gets to the point where, well, now you're going to have to fight it out, like actual men per se.
Yeah.
Was there like a point where you're just like, oh, well, like spanking's off the table for me? Like, you're not going to do that to me.
It really, well, yeah. As I said, I didn't grow up with my father in my life. So all my whoopings came from my mom, my aunt, and my grandma, because we were all in, this big house.
Yeah.
So I think instead of like where I got too old, like for spankings, they would just take my phone.
Yeah.
Just dad take my phone, tell me I can't go to this place, whatever the case can be, because like I'm grown. Like if you hit me, it's gonna be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing that for? Yeah, it's like it's like I'm too old to get, spanked now. So they just, resort to just taking my phone, telling me I can't go to this place, I can't hang out with this friend, so on and so forth. So
yeah. And I mean, compared to like, getting physically punished to just, taking things away from you.
Yeah.
Did you learn a lesson from that? Did that make you learn a lesson?
Not necessarily, because as I said, like whether it was spanking me or taking away my phone, I was gonna find some alternative way to, still do what I want to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I think what I used to do is like, because I used to have, when I was still in New York, I had a what's it called, like the iPod thing.
Yeah.
And I had this big, it was a penguin case. Don't laugh at me, but it was a penguin case. And what I would do is like, if my grandma would ask for my phone, or if my mom would ask for my phone, like I would kind of like stuff, like we had like these little index cards, like business cards, but like they were like very thick. Yeah. So I put a whole bunch of them on top of each other and put it inside of the phone case, so it made it feel like an actual phone.
Oh my god!
And I cut out like on the camera part, I cut out like a little circle so it make it look like a phone, whatever the case may be.
Bro.
But, yeah, like it was just, whenever things happen to you, you find different ways to, still get what you want.
You adapt.
You adapt. Yeah. So they just taught me how to adapt. So yeah.
And I think that's the bigger overarching tone from this conversation. And then that's what I really want to get into the Me Too is the punishment that your parents punishment that they gave you as a kid, it doesn't really teach you lessons.
Exactly.
Actually, I'm going to redact that statement. It does teach you a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't teach you the lesson that they are trying to teach you. And I guess that's why a lot of people come into adulthood with, a way different ideology, a way different way of doing things, a way of living life than their parents expected them to.
Right.
Because you get a lot of these kids where it's like, well, I don't know what went wrong. Like, if he came home and the teacher said he was being bad, I got the wooden spoon, and he went back to school and he was still bad. I just don't understand,
Like,
and I think they just, it happens a lot, but you just miss the mark.
Yeah.
Parents miss the mark on that a lot.
Well, no, 100%, because the way how I would kind of view it is, what if it was done to me? Like if some person like comes up to me and just starts hitting me out of nowhere, I'm not going to sit there and obey you or listen to you. I'm going to be angry, but I know that you're a parental figure and you have a whole bunch of control over many different areas of my life at that age. So I'm either going to retaliate in other ways, not towards you, or I'm just going to just do what I want to do. And that's often what happens with a lot of these kids. Like that's where the rebelliousness, I don't even know that's word, but that's where the rebellion, comes in from. Like you would have a whole bunch of kids like doing good in school and feeling like, I'm getting good grades, a whole bunch of other things, but they might feel like, well, my mom just hit me yesterday.
Yeah.
Like my dad just hit me yesterday. So it's like, what, like, I just don't see I personally just don't see the reasoning behind spanking, because that literally does nothing.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to condition somebody into saying, well, I don't want you to do this anymore, you hitting that person and causing them physical pain, that is not going to go the direction that you want it to go in. Like, of course, like I wouldn't say like there's going to be situations where, you're going to want to feel like you want to physically hit your kid. Like if you get a call from the school saying that, your kid threw a desk at a teacher, and like now you have a bad image and like people are looking at you like you a bad mother, you're a bad father. Yeah. You're going to want to hit the, crap out your child.
Yeah.
But talking to your child and telling them like, okay, this is not the right way to go, so on and so forth. There's so many different avenues and so many different alternative ways that you can teach or try to condition somebody to do something. Hitting somebody, that's not gonna go well, because let's say if you're in jail and the prison guard, I think that's what he's called.
Yeah.
They telling you got to get up and get your meal. If he's constantly hitting you, telling you to get up and get your meal, of course you're gonna get it because they have control over you, but you're not gonna want to be nice to them or obey them. So I don't know. It's just very weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get your child to understand and ultimately think about their actions and the consequences of their actions, you have to come down to a level in which the child can understand you physically or verbally hurting the child in that way, and to show them this is what happens when you do wrong, you're not on that level whatsoever. You instantly put yourself above them. And that's where a huge disconnect comes.
Right.
And then I think it could either come from a rebellious instinct, or, you know, the kid just becomes a hermit, and they never talk to you. They don't talk about anything that they want to. They don't want to talk about their feelings, none of that. Because, you know, to them, it's like, oh, anything I could say, anything I do, I might do the wrong thing, and I might, you know, get punished for it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that is a crutch that a lot of parents use. Well, I'll just correct their behavior in this way, and it'll solve all their problems.
Exactly. I think some parents have like a superior God complex. Like, they might feel like, well, I have a child, like, I can tell you what to do. Like, they might feel like they have all the power in the world. But at the end of the day, if you go through life trying to parent your child, whether if you're a mother, whether you're a father, that is never going to end up well. Like, you basically presenting yourself to your child that basically, I'm the person that you need to listen to. I mean, yeah, of course, that's your child, and, you know, you're their parent. They need to listen to you. But at the end of the day, if you put on that, like, that big, I guess, persona, like, you can't expect your child to come and open up to you, tell you how their day was at school, anything like that, because they got to walk on eggshells around you, because if they say the wrong thing, they're going to get slapped. If they eat the wrong thing, they're going to get slapped. It's just so many different things. Like, I know if I was to ever have a child, I wouldn't want to give my child that kind of energy or that kind of vibe. Like, of course, I want to let my child know that I'm the one wearing the pants. Like, in this household, I'm the one in control, but I'm still going to treat you like a human being, and I'm going to still let you be your own person. Like, I'm going to try to teach you lessons while you're young. So, for example, if I get a call that my child hit a teacher at school or something, or, you know, got into a fight, I'm going to teach my child, like, look, that's not the way to go about it, and give him a whole bunch of different tools and resources to, you know, not do that, instead of just resorting to spanking them. Because if you do that to your child is going to try to retaliate at other people and redirect that anger. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. And I think you get a lot of bad situations from that. I mean, yeah, you start hitting your child, and they got to put that anger somewhere. And it might be, some kid at school, they might just be like, bro, I just don't like this guy.
Exactly.
I'm tired of getting spanked. I'm tired of getting beat every day when I come home from school for just something so small, whatever. I'm just going to take it out on this kid. Yeah. You know, that kid might be going through the same thing. He might be having the best day of his life, you know?
That's true.
So it's just like your actions as a parent it unwillingly might have consequences on people that your child is around. Yeah. And I think that's something that they totally don't think about.
Yeah.
But I think it's also worth noting almost this historical aspect of it. Because I know my parents, that's how they grew up. And their parents, that's how they grew up.
Yep.
But on my side of the family, I know my parents were slaves.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, that's not how it was for someone's parent, you know? Eventually somebody was a slave.
Yeah.
Eventually somebody was getting beat for something that they unwillingly did, and they don't know why they're getting beat for.
Yep.
And that's something that's still getting passed down today. Why? Why are we not learning from this?
Right.
It's a perpetual cycle, and things are still ending up how it is for these kids. Somewhere along the line, somebody wasn't like, this may not be what works.
Right.
And I have a really big problem understanding that. I have a lot of gripe with that concept.
Right. I mean, I'm so glad you brought up that point, because, you know, and I don't want to make this a race thing, but, you know, back then, like, slaves, of course, were beat. That's common knowledge. Everybody knows that. Yeah. And basically, well, the way how I view it is, it was more so of like a superior type of thing. Like, you know, I'm this skin color and you're this skin color, so you're inferior to me. So if you do anything, I'm gonna hit you. And I guess like the deeper meaning behind like whipping somebody and whatever the case may be is just so you can have that control or power over them. Yeah. Bringing that generations down, generations after generation, you got hit by your dad, your mom, you're going to hit your son, your daughter. It's just like, how, like, y'all didn't want to tolerate that from, one skin tone. So why y'all trying to do it to yourselves?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that only one race, beats their children, because everybody beats their children and disciplines them in many different ways. But it's just like I guess historically, like what we've been through and what that means. Like, it's deeper than just you hitting somebody and them feeling pain. It's deeper than that. Like, there's a actual like mental and emotional thing behind that. Like, as I said, that means like you're in control. You have that power over somebody. You can whip them. You have that power to, cause physical harm to them. So I feel like just trying to parent your child with that type of mentality, it's like, how do you expect your child to react? Yeah. Like, your child is gonna one day, like when they get older and they're old enough to, meet you on that level, you try to hit them, they're going to hit you right back. And then you're going to wonder, like, where did I go wrong? Why is my child acting like this? Yeah. You caused that. Yeah. Like, you developed that, but you didn't see it because you were stuck in your God complex that you felt like, well, I'm the mom, I'm the father. So if I can hit you and I'm paying all the bills, I'm putting the clothes on your back, the food on the plate, the roof over your head, I can do what I want. Yeah. But now if I'm 25, 30 and you try to hit me, I'm going to try to hit you back. Because at this point, I'm not looking at it in a parent-child relationship. It's a human-to-human relationship. Like, I'm a man, you're a man, I'm a woman, you're a woman. Like, that's the way I'm viewing it. So, like, you're still my parent, but at the end of the day, we're both adults. Exactly. Like, of course, like, I'm never going to put my hands on one of my family members, of course, not my mom, nobody. But at the end of the day, I think people need to understand that we are human beings. Like, when we were younger, we didn't have that much power or that control to, hit you back. Like, we might just like not talk to you, whatever the case may be, because that's all that we could do at that time. I have so many different other resources now. People either move out, people either go on a walk, whatever the case may be, but people do, hit their parents back, and that's what people fail to realize. So, yeah. I think that's something that's, very illuminating for me, especially now that I am an adult, is that all that stuff that they were teaching me as a kid, eventually I will be an adult. Mm-hmm. Eventually your kid will be an adult. And what you do to them as their kid, it's going to be brought with them into adulthood. Exactly. And you start to think critically about what you do and how you do it, how you say certain things, how you punish them. Mm. I think that is something parents should start thinking about, especially in the Black community. Yeah. So let me ask you this question now. So if you were to have, a child, how would you discipline them? Oh, that is a really hard question. For me, well, I'll give an example. I have a dog. Okay. I've had a dog for almost a year now. Baby Bell, shout out to you. Yeah, shout out Baby Bell. But I've never hit my dog. Okay. I'm not to say I have the best dog in the world. And I'm not saying a kid is equal to a dog either. Right. But in that, I learned that physically punishing my dog was not going to bring me any solace, was not going to, soothe my soul. Mm-hmm. It wasn't going to do anything for me. And plus, my dog won't learn from that, right. And I feel like I will try to bring that same approach, to parenting. Not to say that, oh, when my dog does something wrong, I just sit there and laugh and be like, oh, Baby Bell's so cute. Right. I give her options. Okay. But, with the kid, kids, they will start to understand the repercussions for their actions. Right. There are options out there, but I think it's more important for the kid to understand the repercussions of their actions than to just punish them as a repercussion for their action. Mm-hmm. So that's how I would like to parent. Right. It's a way different. It's a way different story when you're actually a parent. Yeah, most definitely. But I'm curious. How would you parent? I don't think I would ever hit my child. Yeah. Now I might get on like a little pop on the hand or something, but to actually full-fledged out and like beat my child, I don't think I would ever do that, because I wouldn't have the heart to do that. Because I don't like pain, so I don't want to see anybody else in pain, especially not my own kid. Yeah. So I don't think I would ever hit my child to that extent, or for it to be that severe. I don't think I would ever do that. Yeah. So, yeah.
how was your parents' upbringing? Like how was their childhood? How were they punished? And did you feel like that had any effect on how you grew up?
I don't know exactly how they grew up in the sense of like punishment, because I've never, thought to ask my mom that. But just knowing that she grew up in Jamaica, and this was like how many years ago? Like Jamaica, even now, Jamaica's a place like everybody gets hit for literally anything, like bricks, broom, literally anything, as I said, in close vicinity, they're going to try to hit you with it.
Yeah.
But I think just knowing that, my whole entire family's from Jamaica, and like that was like back then, like it's not the modern days now. They most definitely got spanked, like hard. That's what I feel. I don't know that to be true for sure, but given everything that I know now, like I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
My parents grew up in like the most, like, I don't even know how you would describe it. Almost like a Baptist church, like Southern hospitality type beat. You feel me? Like, yes sir, no sir. Like when grown-ups talking, you don't talk at all.
Right.
And like I'm talking like, yeah, go get a switch off the tree. Bring it to me. Like that. That's how they grew up. And it wasn't like something that they resented.
Right.
And not to say like they're bad people. Like, they grew up to be awesome parents. But I'm sure that had to have effect on them in some way, shape, or form. No one willingly gets like beat and like it's just okay with that,
Yeah.
Unless you're just self-loathing for punishment, and that's a different story. But I guess like for me, like I think with my brother, my older brother,
right.
That's how they parented him. And there was a lot of turmoil in my household when he was there.
Right.
And for good reason, because he was not one to respond to that, type of parenting, that type of punishment.
Right.
And he had to like move away for a while. But I think that had a lot to do with, how it was, like how my parents chose to raise him. Yeah. But like with me, my sister is a lot different. Not to say we didn't get spanked now. I mean, that still happened, but, I think at some point in time, my parents realized, this is not working.
Right.
You feel me? And that's why I asked you, do you remember like when you stopped getting spanked? Because I can remember vividly for me as a middle schooler, I just, the thought came into my head like, man, I can't remember the last time I got spanked,
Yeah.
And I think that was like that was a big turning point in my relationship with my parents, especially my dad, because like then we actually started to have real conversation.
Right.
It wasn't like him telling me what to do. This is how I'm supposed to live my life. He started realizing that I was an individual with my own thoughts,
right,
and my own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that brought some humanity to it. Like, oh man, like this is like, I'm just talking to like, a small sized adult. Like how am I going to like put my hands on him like that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that like, that's something that came into his brain as well. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, spanking, in general, or like just physical harm as a way of punishment, it just has like a very, like, over time, it has like a very emotional and mental, effect on that, because like, as you said, like you're a person with your own thoughts, your own feelings. So at the end of the day, you still have to realize that you're dealing with a human being. Like all the things, like when they get older, all of these things, they're going to remember all of that. Like, or like if they're too young to remember, it's going to show up in so many different areas of their lives where they're going to be trying to wonder, where is this coming from? Where is all this anger stemming from? Like hitting your child like constantly. Like I know some people, back in New York who, they got beat for literally anything.
Yeah.
Like it was just something like if you came home a minute late, you got beat, or you got it was some type of punishment.
Street light.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like you being so strict on your child. And that's not to say like, of course, like you're not supposed to have like rules and guidelines in your house, but at the end of the day, you still have to understand that you're raising a child, you're raising an adult. So you trying to cause physical harm to them, it's just like, that's gonna, as I said, that's gonna teach them how to be, rebellious. That's gonna teach them how to, find another way to do something. So you trying to do that when they get older, like for example, if if I'm a dad and I have a son, right? My son, you know, I'm beating the hell out of my son, and like beating him for literally anything he does. When he gets older, he might, you know, start beating on women.
Yeah.
So it's like, and everybody's gonna be trying to figure out, oh, where'd he get that from?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just so many different things, and there's so many like different life lessons that, you know, stem from that people don't see until like years later. Like, people might think that, you know, just beating my kid right now, it's not gonna have no effect on him or her. Like, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna cry. They're gonna listen to me, whatever the case may be. You repeatedly doing that day after day, time after time, incident after incident, it's like you're raising a more rebellious adult, and you can't be upset or like blame anybody but yourself if your child decides to one day like hit you back, or if you're in a nursing home and like you know, you're about to pass away, they're not going to take care of you. Like, it's just so many different things. Like, you treated me like this in my childhood when I needed help. Like, I'm still trying to develop. I need food on my plate. I can't make my own food. I don't have money. I'm not even old enough to work. And you need to provide for me as, you know, my caregiver.
Yeah.
When you're old, you're an adult. I'm an adult too.
Yeah.
I don't have to help you. Like, I don't have to help you. I don't have to do anything, because it's just like karma is really real. Like, you did this to me, I'm going to do it right back to you. Like, you treated me like this. You like, I don't know. It's just so many different things like that. People need to understand that like everything that you do in your child's life now is going to have some type of effect, whether it be direct or indirect. And it might not be, you know, directed towards you. It might be directed to their boyfriend, their girlfriend, whoever it is. It's just like a, it's not a simple down. What's the word? It's a like a trickle down. What I said the last episode. Yeah. Like a little a trickle down effect. Like, I don't know. It's just like, and I don't want to make this like I'll get off the soapbox, but like, if you see this couple, right, and you know, you hear that, you know, the guy is constantly beating on the girl or vice versa, everybody's gonna be trying to figure out, oh, where do you see that to make him think that's okay? People don't understand that like things that people do now, things are not learned, they're taught, or however that, vice versa, whatever the case may be. But when people see things happening repeatedly, people are going to think that's okay and that's the normal. So if I see, for example, I do have a sister, but let's say if I had a brother my age and, you know, my mom was constantly beating him, whatever the case may be, I might get older and think, well, you know, I see my mom hit my brother, I might think that's okay if somebody's not listening to me. Yeah. Like, if my girlfriend, like if I want spaghetti and meatballs one night and she makes chicken Alfredo, if I have that mentality in my head, I might think, well, I need to hit her because she didn't make my food right. It's I don't know. It's just so many different things that, I don't know. It's just weird. And just people just need to understand that everything that you do in your child's life is going to have some type of long-term effect, whether that's indirect or directly. So, yeah.
Honestly, man, like, if you're a parent, you got to start thinking like your child is an adult. Your child is an adult. They're just in their infant stage. And you really have to start realizing that.
Exactly.
One question comes to mind. As, you know, physical punishment or just punishment in general, like, how has that influenced the way you view authority?
Ooh, okay. That touches back on the previous point that I made about like the whole slaves and the whipping thing. Yeah. Because the deeper meaning or the mental and emotional meaning behind, you know, hitting somebody is so that you can have control over them. Me, I'm a type of person, as I said before, I don't like pain. I don't like receiving pain. I don't like conflicting pain on other people. So I'm not going to do it to other people if I don't want it done to me. So what was the question? I'm so sorry.
Like, how has it like influenced the way you looked at authority?
I don't know. Like, I think now my definition of authority is like, I have something you don't. Yeah. I have something you don't. I have something you don't. You'll never see. But like, I have something you don't. So it's just like, I might feel like whatever I have, like, I guess I got to guard it from my life, and you have to listen to me whether or not, because I have something that you want or something of that, you know, nature. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's how I view authority right now. What about you?
Ooh, I wasn't prepared to answer my own question. I don't know. I like that type of thing never like translated for me as a kid. So like I push back on authority a lot. very micro though. It's not like, oh, I'm just like, bro, whatever. I'm not listening to you. Like, you know, screw my professors, all this other. That's not me.
Right.
But, you know, I'm not one just to like, you know, follow rules just blindly. That, I mean, I've learned that's, if anything, that's the biggest lesson I learned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like authority, and I think it goes back to like the saying, like, respect isn't given, it's earned.
Right.
And so if I feel like you deserve that type of respect, you know, it's something that you've earned, something that you've shown me in your character, not something that I'm just going to give up on, like just willingly to you, you know?
Right.
So that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned.
I mean, I think for me, it taught me to stand up for myself. Like, of course, like when you're younger, you know, your mom, your dad, whoever hits you, like you can't voice your frustration because it's just going to hit you again. Like nothing that you say to them, it's just going to go in one ear and out the next, because as I said, they're the ones in control. Like they put the food on the plate, roof over the shoulder, a roof over your head, you know, so on and so forth. So I don't know. I just think over time I've learned to like just be vocal and stand up for myself. Like if you do something that I clearly don't like, I'm not gonna sit there and just not say anything because, you know, you're a parental figure or you're somebody of authority in my life. I'm gonna voice my opinions, like regardless. Like, and that's one thing like I really applaud myself for. Like it's just been so many different things where I might not agree with this, and I'm just like, why do I need to not say anything? I'm an adult. You're an adult as well. So if I wanna, you know, go through my life, I'm cool. I'm an adult. Whatever the case may be. I'm not gonna just sit here and just have anybody talk to me any type of way, anybody think that they can just do anything that they want to. Because look, you might be 56, I might be 26. We're still adults at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna voice my opinions. I'm gonna say what I got to say regardless. Now, depending on the situation, the way how I voice my opinion may be different. I may be, you know, be more disrespectful, or I may be more, you know, respectful, calm, collected. It just depends on the situation. But at the end of the day, just overall in general, I'm going to voice my opinion. Like I'm going to stand up for myself. Like, and if you don't like it, I don't know what you want me to tell you. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think that was incredibly well said, man.
Thank you, brother. But yeah, just some main points to take away from the episode, y'all. Physical punishment, it's not. I mean, you might think that, you know, it's working for the time being and, you know, you get that short-term satisfaction. At the end of the day, long-term, it's not going to work out for either of you. You might feel like, you know, your child is acting out of nowhere, but at the end of the day, you can't blame nobody but yourself because you trained that child. So yeah, just some main takeaways. Treat your child with respect. Treat them like an actual human being. They're not objects. They're not animals. They are children. They are human beings. So yeah, just think about that next time you ever want to, you know, raise your hand to your child.
Letter to Life is produced with the cooperation of the student staff of WCUG Cougar Radio and the CSU Department of Communication. Thanks to Department Chair Dr. Dana Gibson and WCUG Faculty Advisor Dr. Bruce Getz for their help in airing this show. Charisma Newman produced this episode. Editor this week is also Charisma Newman. Operations Director of WCUG Cougar Radio is Sho Irakawa. Our Programming Manager is Lewis Myers. Marketing Manager is Logan Swaim. And our Production Manager is Austin Slocum. You can listen to our show and more online by searching for our call letters, WCUG. I'm Jordan.
And Gio.
And you've been listening to the Letter to Life podcast.